Well, when picking what I was going to speak about, I looked online, I looked at a lot of organizations, and I didn't really know what I was going to choose until it was like right in front of my face, literally. I'm sure you guys have all been approached by or seen them in the streets of Denver or on campus. Like those annoying people with clipboards and way to sign stuff, like Greenpeace, you know. They're like, do you have a minute to talk about the forest? And I'm so nice to people, like I get roped into those things really easily. Like I'll give them a high five, and then I'm there like for 10 minutes talking about the forest. So that's how I chose what I'm doing now. So I'm talking about Greenpeace. It's one of those things where I think a lot of people have heard about it, but they don't really know what they do. They might think they're like eco-terrorists or something. But it's really important to realize why those people are on the street, because they don't get funding from the government. They don't get funding from big corporations because they're actually working against corporations. And they're the largest independent direct action environmental organization in the world. They have 2.8 million members worldwide and 41 offices in 41 countries. The organization is divided into 3 projects: ancient forests, ocean, and energy revolution. So let's go back from the beginning. It all started in 1971 when a group of Canadians sailed out from Vancouver, Canada to a little island on just like the tail of Alaska. And what was happening on that island was nuclear testing. It was like a sanctuary. It was a refuge for 3,000 endangered sea otters, and it was home to other wildlife like bald eagles and falcons. And the U.S. was doing nuclear testing there for like nuclear bombs. So this group went out just to witness what was happening, how that affected the ecosystem there. And they didn't make it. They got intercepted in their journey. But even though they didn't complete it, this adventure sparked public interest. It was a flurry of news and things that, like, there was reporting after this. The U.S. still detonated the bomb that they were doing the testing for, but testing at the island ended the same year that these people tried to go out there. So you can see maybe they had something to do with it. They just kind of let the public know that this was happening. I'm going to pass out a little picture of the island. It kind of shows you where it is. It's called Amichta. I can't really pronounce it. Pretty sure that's how you say it. It's a tiny island. So the first thing they do is ancient forests. As an example, this is a forest in Indonesia. These are pictures of healthy forests and healthy ecosystems. Clean rivers, really lush trees, not a whole lot of damage. But what's happening to the world's ancient forests is they're being deforested for things that seem really strange, like paper packaging, things that are disposable. That's why these forests are getting cut down. Also, harvesting palm oil is really another big contributor. This is an Indonesian forest after it was harvested for palm oil. What they do, they cut down all the trees. They light things on fire. They end up polluting like the rivers in the process just to get like the paper and the palm oil out. It's a big problem for the ecosystem because it's pushing species like Indonesian tigers and orangutans to extinction. And I'm sure you've heard the rainforests are like the lungs of the world. So it's really important that we preserve the forests that we have left. Speaking from someone who was born with an acute respiratory disease, I think breathing well is really important. I think a lot of people take that for granted. The number of respiratory disease continues to grow. In America, 25 million people, about 10% of the population has asthma, and that's 300 million worldwide. It's really hard to tell in other countries where they don't get medical access how bad the problems are, but it's usually worse because they're breathing in like fumes and things for like the energy he talked about earlier. They're burning campfires in their homes and inhaling those fumes. So it's really worse outside the U.S. The other thing they do is oceans. Oceans, they focus on overfishing. and balance of ecosystems. There's a big problem with whaling in the world. There's a black market fishery that just kills whales to feed this black market meat. And it's a really big problem because they're wiping out entire species of fish in these ecosystems. It's really disturbing the balance. So what has Greenpeace done? They can expose the problems, but what do they do to fix it? Recently, we went to the forestry. They convinced young brands, people like Taco Bell, KFC, and Pizza Hut, they no longer use paper products from the company Asia Pacific Resources International, which sources their materials from the Indonesian rainforests. Greenpeace also has goals like providing sustainable seafood choices in supermarkets and closing loopholes to commercial whaling. They're working with the United Nations to set up marine reserves and oceans. So the next question is like, what can you guys do to make the world a little bit better? Are you raising your hand?
Well, I'm telling you, you're over time.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to say that the goal for the future is sustainability. And everyone can make small choices with things that you buy that make the world a little bit better and not supporting companies that do damage to the world. So, thank you.